Hey, so I'm so excited to be sharing this information with you. How I was able to get rid of multiple chronic health issues in a very short period of time, 100% naturally and holistically, and without drug and pharmaceuticals. So, people are wondering all the time, and you're likely asking yourself the questions: how do I get out of this pain? How do I get off of these drugs? I understand that place so much because I was there and all the issues I had going on in my body. I addressed myself, and let me tell you, at the time, I did not have any training in herbalism or natural remedies, no knowledge of the body like I do now. And I had no clue that my thoughts and emotions were the real reason why I was suffering and in pain. All I had was my determination to heal and to do it holistically and naturally and permanently. But let me tell you, 10 years ago, I had so much going on with my health. I had knee pain, hip pain, chronic adult acne. Do you know how embarrassing that feels? I had chronic digestive issues that I had had since childhood, and we thought that it was lactose intolerance. That wasn't it at all. In my 20s, I was going to the chiropractor 3 days a week for lower back pain. And I was also having hot flashes, nightmares, sleep paralysis. This is crazy. I literally felt like I was falling apart. But today, I don't have any of those issues, not a one. At 37, I feel like I should have felt at 35, at 25 years old. But at 25, I felt like I was deteriorating. I used to say, oh, I'll just get a hip replacement at 50, so casually as if that's normal. I should not have been saying that. I should not have been claiming that for my life or for my health. But because I was in so much pain, that's just how I felt: hopeless and hurting. Well, let me tell you something. Every condition that is created in the body can be healed in the body. You are not stuck with the pain, the illness, the discomfort, or the disease that you are experiencing right now. And here's the thing: I'm going to tell it to you straight. This is a wellness strategy that I use for myself and that I use with my clients and my students. And this is how I was able to heal multiple health issues. And it boils down to this: pick one thing. You have to start somewhere. Start in one place. You probably have more than one health problem or issue going on in your body right now, but you don't tackle everything at once. Imagine if Serena Williams, tennis champion and one of the best athletes in the world, started trying off to play tennis, basketball, and fencing all at the same time. There is no way she would be where she is today had she tried to divide her energy and try to master three different sports simultaneously. She focused on one and she became the best. And it's the same with our health. So many people fail when it comes to healing their health challenges because they're doing the most, trying to tackle it all and all at the same time. It's like setting 5 New Year's resolutions at once and then wondering why at the end of the year you're in the same place you were in January. You've made no progress because your energy was divided. It's the same thing when it comes to our health. Try to tackle too much at once, and you'll end up overwhelmed, discouraged, and making no progress. And to boot, when you're trying to heal naturally and holistically, you have the added burden of research, experimenting, and trying to figure it out all on your own. Because let's be honest, unless you come to my masterclass where I give you the strategies or go to a naturopathic doctor, which is a pretty rare breed, your everyday physician doesn't know about herbs or holistic practices because they just don't study that in medical school. So, because they can't support you on your natural healing journey, they aren't going to encourage you on it either. And you may as well also be surrounded by family and friends who are going to look at you crazy because they don't think natural medicine works. So, the way to set yourself up for natural healing success and to prove the naysayers wrong is to pick one thing. Choose one issue that is causing disruption to your life. Most people have a lot of things going on in their bodies, like I said, not just one thing, but we're talking about getting, healthier as a lifestyle and getting rid of pain. Like, you're aiming to live well, not live a life of managing one illness and then another and another. But you can't start with all of the issues you have. You have to pick one thing. Choose a realistic win. Choose something that is accessible. You're not trying to tackle a whole diagnosis if you have one or several, but every condition has symptoms. You're going to choose a symptom that causes the most disruption to your everyday life. Sometimes, we get so used to being in chronic pain or experiencing a health issue, for so long that we can't even remember a time when we didn't have it. We've gotten so used to functioning, with it. So when I say pick one symptom that causes the most disruption, use these questions to help you identify that issue. What's making you miss work? Whether, you work for yourself or have to go into an office, what makes you call out, close the laptop, and crawl back in bed? What gets in the way of spending quality time with your family? Everyone is downstairs watching a movie, eating popcorn, and You're not enjoying this family time. Why? Your mind is on your pain. What's that pain? If you were to go on a 4-hour hike, what physical condition would make you be like, nah, I'm going to have to pass on that? Because you don't think you'll make it without being in pain. And what issue makes you pop pain relievers like candy? You've got a bottle of Advil in your desk, your car, in the kitchen, in your nightstand. Why? And what makes you lose sleep? If you're often up in the middle of the night in pain or discomfort, why? What's causing that? So I have a very close friend who has high blood pressure. And in the almost 20-year friendship, she's had high blood pressure. But I just recently learned that she has daily headaches associated with her high blood pressure. And I only know because her husband spilled the beans. It's not something that she's ever really mentioned. So she's gotten used to this. She's become conditioned to a headache being an everyday occurrence that she doesn't think about it. But when she doesn't have a headache, she notices it and she feels so much better. Maybe you have a similar experience and you can use these prompts to help you nail down that one symptom. You might be saying, but Salima, why can't I just choose the diagnosis? So let's walk through this with another example. Uterine fibroids are a huge health crisis now. 70 to 80% of American women will develop uterine fibroids by age 50, but for Black women, that number is a shocking 90%. The symptoms of uterine fibroids can include heavy bleeding, long periods, pelvic pain, painful urination, or going to the bathroom all the time because the fibroids are pressing against your bladder, constipation, backaches, leg pains, ovarian pain, and they can cause problems with pregnancy and birth. Yes, the fibroids in your womb are causing all of this trouble, but coming out of the blocks, starting blocks, trying to shrink or dissolve or birth, because they can be like birthed out, that's very ambitious. Can it be done? Absolutely, with the right wellness team on your side. But more often than not, I see so many women on the fibroid journey who end up giving up and having the hysterectomies or the surgery to remove them because they were discouraged, because the process was taking too long, because they weren't seeing any progress, because ultimately they were tackling the issue from too high of a level. There are lots of factors that come into play when you're trying to shrink or get rid of fibroids naturally. Diet changes, addressing blood building, cramping, inflammation, blood loss, hormonal regulation, managing your stress. And you can't forget the emotional work that goes right along with it too. So someone trying to shrink fibroids or get rid of fibroids naturally is looking at overhauling their entire routine and life all at once. But what if, instead of trying to shrink the fibroids, you said, I'm just going to focus on reducing the heavy menstrual bleeding, because this is what disrupts my life the most. This is a lot easier to wrap your head around, and because it's so bite-sized, you know exactly which category of herbs and natural remedies to choose from. Shrinking fibroids is overwhelming and big and long and requires a lot of changes and adjustments, but reducing heavy uterine bleeding is bite-sized, easy to form a plan for, and much easier to track your progress, much easier to make your own herbal medicine for, and much easier to make adjustments to said medicine if you need to. You see what I'm saying? And from there, when the bleeding is in check, you move on to work on the next thing. What you'll find is that you'll end up exactly where you intended to be all along, with fibroids that are smaller in size, because in reducing your bleeding, you reduce their blood supply, so they will naturally decrease in size. But you did it by prioritizing and staying focused. You started with laser-like focus on one symptom and mastered what you had to do to address that symptom. You know the medicine you need to make and take. Each month you see progress in your lighter periods, so you celebrate. You're going to learn your body so well by paying attention to this one issue. You're going to know exactly what you need to do when you start feeling out of balance. You're going to learn your triggers and how to calm down from them. Every day, in your desire to feel well, healed, and whole, you have direction because you're focused on one thing, just like Serena.